Hey, what's up guys? This is John Spier, Warhammer. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hey, today I wanted to kind of go over how to be an electrician. So, there is a few different methods. Let's say if you are like a pup, like a young guy, 16, 17, somewhere around there. You're thinking about being an electrician. You've heard about it, you know somebody, that's usually kind of how it goes. But you know someone that wants, or that is a sparky, you like the way that they're living, great. So, if you're around this particular age group, my best suggestion is to try to go apply at an electrical contractor's office. So, you can be, and look for the keywords helper or shop guy, something around there. And this will basically teach you all the necessary things you're going to need to know up front, like the material. You're going to get to see like how projects are without actually working at them. But it'll kind of give you an upfront idea on how you are gonna get into the trade, what the trade is all about, and let's say even furthermore you like what you see, you like what you're doing. This will give you the opportunity to be with a contractor that can guide you through everything. Okay, so that's option number one. If you're a young buck that's looking for possibly being an electrician for the, for a good portion of their career. Alright, so number two is you can join like a community college program, right? This basically teaches you the knowledge, but not the on the field training. So you will get the knowledge that you need to pass your test, but you're not going to have the on the field training. So it's kind of like a mixed bag of nuts, right? Like you get half of what you really need, because you really need the on the job training and the schooling. So that's option two. Option three is you can join the union, right? I can't personally speak for anything union related. I'm not part of it. I don't know really their ins and outs of that system. I hear they have good benefits, as far as your medical, dental, visual, which can be important to some groups of people. They have retirement, but so does the other people. The only thing I know about them is that you have to pay dues. You gotta pay dues like monthly or something like that. And dues are just like an added cost to be working or to be put on their books. I was never really into paying someone to work, and I could be totally wrong. I don't want to give the IBEW guys, any bad taste in their mouth about this video. It's just not the path I chose, and I've been really happy with the way I went through it, which is your local non-union. So the local non-union, they come in a bunch of different forms, but the one I'm used to and the one I know is called the IEC, or Independent Electrical Contractors. So in my particular case in New Mexico, in the northern part of New Mexico, it's called Northern New Mexico Independent Electrical Contractors, right? So basically this is a list of all of the non-union electricians here in the New Mexico area. And basically you sign up, and I'm not bullshitting, you gave this person $20 You sign up, you take a math test, they see where you're at on that math test, and then they place you with an electrical contractor. And then from that electrical contractor, you basically stay with that person for 4 years, going to school and work. So basically how it happened for me was, like, for 4 years I went to school every Tuesday and Thursday, and every time I passed my final and midterm, I would get a raise. So you start at 50%, and then, you know, as you pass the test, gradually work your way up to about 85-90%. And then once you take your journeyman's test and pass that, that's when you get the 100% journeyman wage, right? And then there's a fifth option, which I do not recommend at all. But if you're just that type of cat, you're done with school at a high school, you don't want to go do it, you can find someone that's looking for unindentured apprentices or unindentured electricians, or whatever the case, basically just helpers, and you stay in helper for however long until you can pass the test. But I highly don't recommend that, because electrical is kind of a specific knowledge trade, so it's kind of good to go through the school so you can learn the baseline of, so understanding the baseline, you have to know theory behind electrical, you have to know the calculations behind electrical, you have to know the code behind electrical. So there is a code associated with electricians that we follow on a day-to-day basis that's called the NEC, or the National Electric Code. So basically this has been adopted by all 50 states, and each state has their own individual interpretation of that particular code, which either they're adding or deleting based on the location. Like, so here in New Mexico, we have to run 2 ground rods, and that's because our ground's crap. It doesn't have any, you know, continuity in the ground, so you have to run 2. So we're in the middle of the desert, it is what it is. So that is the kind of specific knowledge that you're going to need to know in order to take this electrical exam to become a licensed journeyman electrician. Okay, so with that being said, so as an apprentice though, you know, you have to go in knowing a few different things. One of them being that it is a physical job. You will have to work with your back. You are going to have to dig trenches. You're going to have to pull wire, run pipe, heavy objects, heavy wire, heavy spools, everything's heavy. So just going into the trade, you're going to have to go in knowing that this is a physical job, but it's also a job that you have to work with your brain. So it's one of the few trades, and there's HVAC, there's electricians, and plumbers too. I don't want to knock them, but knowing all of these different trades, electrician, you have to work with your brain and your back, and that's just part of it, but it's awesome. So here's the cool part about being an electrician, other than you get to work with your brain and your back, is that one, you are there from day one to the very last day. You are there digging trenches, and you're there trimming out wire. So you are there the entire job, and it's truly one of the only, you know, trades that can do that throughout the whole process of the job. So you're gonna get to see the building just organically grow from nothing to what it is throughout the entire process. You know, and you might get lucky enough to see a ground up project, which is really cool to see, because you basically start with a two-dimensional set of plans and you get to see this 3D model be made with all the different trades, and it's really cool because you get to work with the plumbers, the HVAC guys, the drywallers. You get to work with all of them because they all affect you in different ways. The ceiling guy, you need him to know what he's doing so you can put your lights in. You need the HVAC guy because you're going to be running his wire for his air conditioners and heaters. You're going to need to know the plumber to see what his stuff is, that there's automatic sinks. You know, you're going to need to deal with the drywalls and painters because you're going to need to know when you can put your trim on. So you get to work with every single trade, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. The whole trade as a whole is pretty good. The other deal is that it's in demand. Throughout the pandemic, you know, which is a bad word for most people, but for the construction world, it was actually not terrible because we were considered an essential group of people, so business just kept on going. And it might have been the busiest year of my life, to be completely honest with you. So, it not only is electrician like an in-demand project right now, so not only is it an in-demand personnel group that, that you can basically, be working full-time for the rest of your life and make a really good living. It gets paid better than most trades, just for the simple fact that you work with your brain and your back. That is just part of it, so you get paid better for the most part. Some HVAC guys make some pretty good money that I know, but all their stuff is equipment specific. So I mean, if you're a train guy, you gotta know train stuff. If you're a Honeywell dude, you gotta know Honeywell stuff. And your particular contractor is gonna teach you that one method. Whereas to be an electrician, if you learn the basics and know how to be an electrician and have your journeyman's card, you can pretty much take that anywhere because it's not so different from everything, but the codes change from the type of electrician that you are. So there's different sections in the code. Like if you're a hospital guy, then you got to know the hospital code. And if you're an industrial dude, same thing, etc., etc. Let's see. So I'm gonna leave it with a couple of things. So this trade's good for anyone. If you got a pretty decent head on your shoulder, this is a pretty amazing trade. It's treated me extremely well. I've seen the world with my card. I worked in Montana and California, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, just with a journeyman's card. North Dakota, South Dakota, and most of the time your card will reciprocate to a different state, and you just gotta check with your local electrical company and see where it goes to. And there's some states like Texas and California that are right to work states, and Arizona I think, that you can basically just work there as an electrician. It's a completely different model than I know, so I can't speak for those particular states. But it's a good trade for anyone to get into, whether you're 17-year-old trying to get into the trade barely, which you'll be off to a really good start if you do it that way, or if you're an older cat that's just sick of being a janitor. or whatever, right? Even nurses. I've seen some nurses come in that just, don't like the medical field as much as they had hoped. And, they come in, or I've seen a bunch of firefighters, same thing. It's just not what they expected it to be, and, they became an electrician, and, life's been good for them. So, the one thing you should research, though, is what type of electrician that you want to be. Because there are a multitude of different types of electricians. One is being a resi, or a residential electrician, which basically you stick to one voltage, which is 120, 240. You don't really stray away from that unless you're doing custom homes, but you kind of stay in the single phase type of area. It doesn't pay as well as a commercial electrician or an industrial, but it's a good living, and you can rope some houses. It can get really, really repetitive. So if you're okay with that, that's a good spot to get into. There's a commercial electrician, which is basically doing buildings for commercial customers. So commercial can mean a lot of things. There's roadway guys, that just work on the streets and work on the roads. And there are industrial dudes that do, rigid pipe, heavy duty stuff. That's probably the highest paying electrician that you can be. And then commercial, then roadway, and then residential. Roadways really, it totally depends on the contractor. It could be really high, or it could be really low. And then there's like very site specific electricians, like sign guys, elevator dudes, so there's all kinds of different spectrums, I guess. My suggestion, though, would be to get with a contractor, and you're gonna have to do a little bit of research, but a contractor that is known to do a multitude of different things, whether it's retail spaces and hospitals, or just the most wide variety. Usually look for cats that have done the zoo, right? Because the zoo's kind of like its own little world, but that type of electrician has probably done a complete array of different things that will benefit, making you a more rounded electrician as a whole. Or an electrical company that has a low voltage division. So basically you have options. Say you don't like being an electrician, but you've seen the fire alarm guys and you like that type of work better, but at least you have the option to move within the company, so those are my how to become an electrician knowledge. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helps somebody out. Once again, my name is John Spier. I'm with Warhammer Electric. Please like, subscribe, do the whole 9 for me. I'm here to help the next generation of electricians become who they are. So I'll do everything in my power to help a first year apprentice to someone that's trying to become an apprentice, all the way up to a foreman, project manager, things like that. I started at the bottom of the totem pole where I didn't know anything. I didn't even know what channel locks were. And I was lucky enough to have a good set of teachers that rose me up and you know, currently now I'm a project manager at one of the local New Mexico companies. So, you know, things have worked out great. And, you know, just on that last note, being an electrician doesn't mean you're an electrician forever. You can be a foreman, a superintendent, which basically overlooks a multitude of projects. You can be a project manager who deals with the money, or you could be the owner of the company. You can go into accounting. It's such a wide open field for anyone who's interested. It's great. It's been great to me. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. I'll totally do my best to answer everything I can. Until next time, hope you guys have a good one. John Spier.